So I'm back. So I'm going to be doing the weekend ahead. So that's from Friday the 2nd of August till Sunday the 4th of August. And today I'm using the wonderful Spirit Within Tarot from Stephen Bright. And as a clarifier card of the Oracle, I'm using the Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. I thought I'd use that one being it's a new moon. So here we go. So for the same four positions I usually use for these readings, the first one is what is the energies around the weekend of Friday the 2nd to Sunday the 4th of August. And we have the Three of Swords. There we go. So the Three of Swords, yes, to some people it means heartbreak. So it could mean that you're coming into the weekend feeling hurt by previous situations or people or whatever it may be, that you're going to be feeling a little bit upset or hurt, you know, that you've been hurt. To me, more often than not, this energy of the Three of Swords is more about disappointment, that you know, things have disappointed you and hurt you in that way. So rather than it being somebody, you know, it's somebody, sort of a relationship, say, that kind of heartbreak, to me it doesn't always signify that unless other cards kind of clarify that for me. As a standalone card, to me the Three of Swords is being hurt and disappointed by a situation, something what hasn't turned out how you was hoping, but you're going to learn a lesson from it. That's how I kind of see the Three of Swords, as a standalone card. So, you know, yes, it could mean heartbreak for some people, but that's not how I read it unless there's other cards. So to me, this is just the energy coming in this weekend, is that you're probably going to start with the weekend feeling disappointed about something what's gone on, or something you're going through, or disappointment in someone, disappointment at work, disappointment at home, but just a disappointment that it hasn't gone how you was hoping it was going to go, or they're not turned out to be who you thought they was going to be, and you've kind of had to learn a lesson from that situation or from that person. So that is a kind of energy that we're coming into this weekend. We may be feeling a bit disheartened, because we've been let down, and we're disappointed and we're hurt, but it's something that we're going to learn from. So that is the energy of the weekend. And the card that could be an obstacle for us is a Nine of Swords. So it's a weekend of the Swords so far. So the Nine of Swords is all about allowing our mind to run off with itself. You know, it can't, you know, in the original image, she's not sleeping at night, she's got so much going on in her head, and she's, you know, it's that kind of anxious feeling. And so this is like an obstacle for you this weekend, is there's too much going on in your head. You're not really seeing things clearly, because you're overthinking everything, you know, because of this energy, what's causing this disappointment, and that has caused you some pain, and, you know, it's made you start overthinking everything. So as a obstacle this weekend, it could be that you're going to spend too much time overthinking what's gone on, overthinking the situation, and overthinking how it's affected everything else in your life, when in fact that, you know, when we get into this mode where our mind starts playing games with us, we start overthinking everything. We always think worst case scenario. We never ever think positive. We always have the negative outcomes, the negative thoughts, and we get ourselves into this negative pattern then of not believing that anything is going to go right. And this is the kind of obstacle that you're going to get this weekend, because you're coming into it with this energy of being disappointed. You're then going to start in this overthinking pattern. So, you know, this is something that could be an obstacle this weekend, is not to get yourself into this situation where you're overanalyzing everything, overthinking everything, and making everything 10 times worse than what actually is, and coming up with scenarios that ain't going to happen. So how can you overcome this obstacle this weekend? And we have the 10 of Wands. So the 10 of Wands as an obstacle. The 10 of Wands to me is taking on too much, trying to do everything yourself, not asking for help, but to carry on regardless, even though you know that it's weighing you down. There's just too much going on and you just can't cope with it all. And this is what is making the overthinking and what have you, because when we are overworked or when we're taking too much on, it doesn't only just stress the body out, it can stress our mind out as well. And this gets into this vicious circle. Then you think you can't ask anybody for help, so you just carry on regardless and slog on, when in fact, if you just put your hand out there and say, can somebody please help me, and just ask for some help, for someone to take these, you know, some of the load off your shoulders if you want, and to help you, things become a lot easier. So that's what it's saying this weekend. Ask for help if this is all getting too much for you, if your mind space is becoming so overly active that you are getting yourself into this deep feeling of depression, anxiety, whatever. Ask for help, speak to somebody, you know, whether it's a loved one, a friend, a family member. Just, you know, don't carry this burden. Speak to somebody about what's gone on, speak to somebody about what you can do. Instead of coming up with all these scenarios, ask for help. You know, don't take it all on your own shoulders. This is what the kind of feeling I'm getting from this. So how is the week going to end, or the weekend rather going to end? And we've got the 6 of Swords. So this is going to be short-lived. By the end of the weekend, this feeling that you've got of being disappointed and overthinking and everything, and just feeling completely overloaded, is going to end by the weekend, because we've got the 6 of Swords. So you're going to start moving forward into a lot calmer space. You know, with the 6, it's not over entirely, but you're in a better place where you can move forward and you can leave a lot of these hurts behind you, and look forward to better things. So it's a great end to the weekend, and this very much ties in with the August ahead reading that I did the other day. It did say that the start of the month was going to be a time where you had to be careful that you didn't get into this mind space of the Swords, and allow this to become a problem for you, or didn't become an obstacle for you to be able to move on. So this is kind of tying in with that, because we are at the start of August, and it has brought up mainly Swords for the beginning for this weekend of August. So for some of us, you know, we're going to get ourselves into this pattern that the other cards talked about, but just reach out and ask for help, whether that's from someone, you know, with someone you trust, a friend, somebody you can confide in, and just get these thoughts and worries out of your head. That help with the load that you're carrying, and you'll be able to move forward then into a better place. So again, like I always say with these readings, they're not always going to be for everybody. You can take from it what you can, or none of it will resonate with you, and that's fine, because it's not always going to be for everybody. So the clarifying card is Surrender. So with this one, it's the waning crescent. So with the waning crescent, and with the title of this card, Surrender, it's asking you to surrender what you no longer need. And you don't need these thoughts in your head. You know, surrender them. You don't need to carry everything alone. Don't be stubborn. Ask for help. And then better things are going to come to you. But you know, it's something that you have to surrender yourself. It's something that you have to ask for help yourself. And once you can do that, you know, you're going to get rid of a lot of these negative energies that you know you don't need in your life, and you'll be able to move forward. And this is what this card is saying: surrender whatever it is that you know you don't need in your life anymore, and know it's for the best. Whether that's your thought pattern, the way you do things, people, situations, whatever you need. Sorry about that. Phone call again. Usually the case, nearly get to the end and then phone call and cuts me off. So yeah, so that's the card, surrender. So it's surrendering all these thoughts that you got going in your head, what you're overthinking, surrendering to having to ask for somebody for help, even, you know, if it's just a trusted friend you can talk to get the load off your mind, and don't carry it all by yourself. It's just all about this weekend, just surrendering all of those negative thoughts that you got going on, and moving forward in a more positive light, and, you know, leaving behind whatever it is that you don't need in your life anymore. This weekend's going to be a good weekend to do that. So yeah, even though it don't sound the best of weekends, it's going to end up great. And like I said, this isn't for everybody. But the month ahead reading for August did say the beginning was going to be a bit like this, and then it got better and better as the month went ahead. And this is the start, the 6 of Swords, where things are going to start improving. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this, and if it resonates, pop in the comments below. Like I said, it probably won't resonate with all, but there may be something that you can take from that reading. And it's such a lovely deck this is to use. I haven't used it for a while, but it really is a lovely deck. And I will speak to you all soon. Bye for now.